Unbelievably, I've got Todd La Torre and Craig Blackwell with me.
Fuck yeah. Right now we're probably close to 6,000.
A woman's so polluted she can't even make a baby.
Well, if it's a dream band, could I be the guitar player?
Perhaps you can sign one for me before he sends it to me. How's that?
Yeah, it's possible. Hard to sign a black shirt.
Message me, and literally, you're their favorite guitarist now. You know,
I go with Dio as the singer because
no, he's dead.
I thought
you don't get that choice. It's got to be real.
It's that wow.
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna surprise people. Oh shit, I've worked with him. I can't do that. And I don't care about technicality at that point. I just want passion.
Hi, I'm Lee at Iridium. Hope everyone's doing all right today. And unbelievably, I've got Todd La Torre and Craig Blackwell with me. How you doing, guys?
Excellent.
Doing great.
Oh man, thanks for joining me. It's an honor. And I know you've been like up to your eyeballs in interviews and everything since the album came out. But obviously I want to get straight into the album. Which is brilliant, by the way. You're probably going to hear me say that so many times during this interview. But just in case anyone doesn't know, you guys did 99% of this album, didn't you? You guys, you recorded. Todd, you did the drums and the vocals, and basically Craig did everything else apart from a guitar solo. Do you want to talk about that guitar solo? Give a shout out to the guitar solo on "Rejoicing the Suffering."
Craig.
Oh, is that me? Okay. So. Very cool. Todd had asked me, "Hey, man, do you want anybody to join us on the record as far as guitar players go?" And I was funny that we were just talking. My first choice was Michael Sweet. That didn't pan out. I always wanted to do a harmony guitar solo with him. The Striper was one of my big inspirations growing up, and I was always really intrigued with their harmony guitar solos. So that didn't pan out. And then Todd had said, "Hey, man, check out this guy. This guy's name's Jordan Ziff. Plays with Rat right now. And he also plays with Marty Friedman." And so we watched a couple videos and I was blown away. I said, okay, yeah, that guy, that's the guy I'd like to play some stuff with. So we made the phone call and I did the first half of the solo. And then Jordan did the second half of the solo. Super great guy, unbelievable guitar player. And I'm just honored to be on a song with him and that he joined us, and we're super appreciative of what he did.
Oh man, it was a great job, but the whole album is just amazing. For me, easily the top album of the year so far, and it's going to take a lot to top what I've heard. So, congratulations on a great album.
Hey Lee.
Yeah.
So when Craig asked me about Michael Sweet, I talked to Michael on the phone, and I said, I'd love to have you on this record, but there's some anti-theism. There's some, I say fuck a couple times. Like I said, as much as we would love to have you on it. I'm really concerned about the backlash you might get for being on a record with the lyrics that I have and some of the things that I talk about. I said, honestly, dude, I'd rather spare you the BS and with all due respect. And he was like, oh, I understand. And he was really cool about it, but I'm sure he would have played something on it. But honestly, I thought that, that audience can be really tough.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I mean,
so,
you're totally right. I mean, I'm on social media too much, man. And you yourself take a lot of stick on social media for certain things, and Michael Sweet and Striper for sure.
Yeah. So that's why when Craig says didn't pan out, that's because I told him, hey, I think I'm going to spare you the grief.
Yeah.
And I said, we'll do something again down the road on something else, but I just figured I'd throw that little trivia in.
Oh man, that's great. I mean, you did go on his album, and that was such a cool track. So there you go. That was a
fun.
brilliant track. But the album is doing really well. I mean, for albums selling these days, and I know the market's totally different. By the way, I nearly wore my Dio t-shirt today, but
Oh yeah, I haven't worn this in forever, and I was digging through the closet. I was like, oh, I think I'll wear this today.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I know album sales and the way music is sold these days is completely different. But I mean, it's doing all right, the album. So yeah.
Look, we get our numbers, you know, stuff that's usually typically not privy to the public. And I know that our first week sales were just about 500 less than accept.
Fuck, yeah.
So we were in the many thousands for the first week in the US. I don't know what Europe did, but you know, right now we're probably close to 6,000 sales, which is great for anything in today's climate, but especially for a solo. You know, I'm just my name. It's not, you know, I'm not Sting. You know what I mean? With that kind of a name. So the numbers have been awesome, and you know, we're really happy. It's still charting well. It's still I think number 4 on Amazon, and we charted in many positions on Billboard. So it's I think, you know, people are just starting to learn that the record is even out. There's people that have no idea. So I think this record is going to have legs and just keep running for a while. I think it's only been out, you know, a month or whatever, a little bit over a month, and it's still doing great. So, you know, we're both really happy that you know, and I know there's people paying attention, and it's a solid record, you know. It's,
well, I mean, I suppose the reviews are helping, because man, I haven't read one negative review. I mean, like I said, I'm on social media quite a bit. I reading your reviews of your album, and it's all been really positive. You know what I mean? So
been really positive. Yeah.
Did you expect that great response like that? Well, that
no,
good?
I mean, I don't really, you know, people didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right? People say, oh, is it going to sound like Queensryche singing? Is it going to sound like, they don't really know. So I think there was that big mystery about, well, what is it going to sound like? And, you know, that was one of the things Craig and I loved about before it was out, was like, man, they have no idea what's on this record.
You decided to chuck one song out with like 3 different things in it at first, just to like shake it up a bit.
Yeah. Then, you know, then when people heard Vanguard's, you know, they were like, oh, thinking it was like, you know, maybe just too much of that. And then we said, all right, we're going to put out Crossroads now and show them that there's some other stuff on here. And that was a home run. So yeah, it's good.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I mean, I've been messaging you for a little while, and you know, wanting to sit down with you, obviously, and I've got to do that. But you said to me, didn't you? I think when Vanguard's was on its way out, you said to me that might be a bit too much for you, because you knew what the sort of stuff that I like.
Right.
But man, I love, the thing is, what I love about you wouldn't call it extreme, but a lot of thrash metal. I love the music.
Sure.
But the vocals sometimes, for me, you know, I go as far as say Testament, and I know people will say, you know, that's nothing, that's soft, you know, to compare to other bands. But that's it. I like Testament. There's a few bands I've found recently, Heathen, Sacred Reich, you know, them sort of bands, but they've all got singers that are decent, you know, and they can sing. And I think that's what I love about this album, because now I've got someone who can actually sing over this brilliant music as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so I've heard some people say, you know, like One by One, for example, they don't like the gutturals, and I understand that it's not for everybody. But what I love about doing that is there's an attitude that you will never get by singing. You're just not going to get it. You're not going to get that evil brutality of a clean vocal, even of a gritty vocal that's singing. That can sound, piercing and very metal in that sense. But when you're doing a really good guttural, it's just like sounds demonic. And to me, there's just an attitude that singing will never do that.
That song does sound fucking evil, man. Michael Sweet wouldn't have been all right with that one. I don't know though. You never know, but there you go. Another thing since I've done the channel, man, production and the mixing on an album for me. It's the first thing I'm looking at, because it's some of these, some of the music these days, it was a bit like, do you remember like back in the 80s and that with 90s with the thrash metal, they all seemed to have the same sort of producer. It all sounded the same.
Right.
A lot of this melodic heavy rock and metal these days it sounds like it's coming from the same producers, and it's not standing out. It's too many layers on guitars, like a wall of sound, if you like. It's not poking out. Man, the first thing the first single you brought out, it was just that guitar especially was just like the feel of it. You could hear everything on that guitar. That's what I miss. You could hear everything there.
Yeah, Craig can tell you about the guitars and the gear that was used on the record if you're interested in the rhythm tracks. Yeah, there was, I think, what did you do? Like a left and a right, 2 rhythm tracks.
Oh, yep, man, that's pretty much it. Yeah. First off, we're using the Kemper with a special preset that was given to us by a well-known producer who I'm not going to name the name, but it's kind of a secret preset. But it's the Mesa Boogie Mark IV, I think. I can't remember the actual amp that was modeled, but it was a Mesa Boogie preset. So yeah, when we were tracking, I have a studio here. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's real crucial to me to try to capture everything as clean as possible.
Yeah. And
through the years, I've been noticing a lot of these bands like over layering, like what you're saying. There's not as much layering. Well, that's exactly what we stripped it back. We said, you know what? Let's do one guitar left and guitar right and see how big it sounds. And once we listen back to it, we're like, that's all it needs. It doesn't need it anymore. It's real detailed. I want to hear all the picking. I want to hear every note that I'm playing in chords, so we decided to strip that back. But that was one of the techniques that we were definitely wanting to stick with through the whole record to make sure we had high detail.
You get that feeling like you're next to the person playing, like you're in the same room when they like struck a chord. Like I used to be in a band years ago when I had hair. You know what I mean? A bit like you, Todd. I had hair once. But I mean, when you hear that, when you're at band practice or whatever, or you're just about to play and you hear that next to you, that's what you hear on your album. It's like a proper live, like someone's just played a Marshall next to you or something, Marshall used to, but brilliant sound. I get so worried about production now, and it puts me off an album.
Well, that's the first thing. That's the very first part of it.
This record has 3 different tunings on the guitars, and so what we did was we used Vanguards of the Dawn Wall as the sample song to get the rhythms dialed in that tuning. I don't know if that was like the whole guitar is all in D.
That's in drop D.
Okay.
Vanguards is in drop D.
Right. So
or drop C. Sorry, drop C.
So it was a matter of getting all of the EQing, where you could hear the articulation of it. And we wanted it to be, very present, but not ear fatiguing. So Zeus spent a lot of time, EQing everything just how we wanted. And we'd send it back and we'd say, okay, that's perfect. That's going to be our benchmark for that sound of the rhythms that we want. And then all of the solos, I think all of them, or almost all of them, were recorded on Craig's EVH, an outboard amplifier with a mic'd cabinet and all that stuff. But the rhythms were all done, through the Kemper, and then all the leads were done with the other amp.
Oh, man. Yeah, the EVH EL34.
It's a great sound. It's a bit like when I first heard, I don't know, 5 Minutes Alone by Pantera. When you first heard that fucking guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, wow. Do you know what I mean? That's what you want to hear, that guitar.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I want to, I don't know if you've spoken about this before, but the artwork on the album.
Yep.
Love it, man. Loving the t-shirts you've seen. I've actually ordered my t-shirt today to let you know. So in about, I don't know how long it's going to take, but you're going to see me wearing my t-shirts.
Well, now you're dealing with Brexit and a whole bunch of different taxes and shit. So
yeah, I mean, I'll leave a link. Not that I don't have anyone taking notice, but to the merchandise underneath this.
Yeah, that's nice of you. Thanks.
Because I mean, man, I was shocked because it only cost me £23, and that's with postage and packaging. So that's great. A t-shirt cost me more to go to the shop. So that's
Yeah,
amazing.
And those shirts are when you get it, they're a 50-50 blend. So they're 50% cotton and polyester, and they're ring spun. It gets all the impurities out. So it's like really soft. It's not like your normal concert shirts where they're kind of stiff and, you're really going to like it. And they're screen printed. They're not digital print.
Oh, nice.
So they're and like the details really, really nice. But yeah, the artwork was done. Actually, my wife is the one that came up with the concept of the Ouroboros. So me and Craig and my wife, when we were talking about what do we want to do for the cover, it was her idea to bring in this symbol. And so a friend, Eric Lorman, created the TLT years ago, and then my friend Kaz did a pencil drawing, the actual pencil drawing of the Ouroboros. And then there's an artist named Gene in Brazil that combined the two pieces of art to put the cracks into the dragon and like the blood splatter and all that stuff. So, there was a few people involved in that, but one of the things that I remember talking about was everybody's album covers. And don't get me wrong, I like darkness. I like, black, and I like dark stuff, but I said, everybody's doing, I'm seeing a pattern with everybody's artwork is looking really similar with the white glowing eyes shooting out and outer space type stuff and all this fire and it all is looking the same. I see a trend, and I was like, fuck that. I want a traditional artist to hand draw this, not a computer tweaked thing. And I want it white to where bam. So if you see 30 thumbnails, our record it just catches your eye.
Yeah, you're right.
And it was something that I wanted, like we wanted attitude, but clean. We didn't want it to be all too much stuff to look at. You get lost in all this too much artwork, I think can be not a good thing. So we're really, really happy with that. The artwork translates really well on a black shirt. Yeah. And on black. And so I'm glad that you like the artwork, and people seem to really like it.
Well, the first thing it's got to look right on a t-shirt, and that's one of the first things. Yeah, exactly. And the pictures I've seen, I mean, I was going to get one anyway, and I was thinking when I've seen them couple of pictures online you put on there, I thought,
yeah, hang on a second, I'll show you.
Yeah, man. How many's he got there? Perhaps he can sign one for me before he sends it to me. How's that?
Yeah, that's possible. Hard to sign a black shirt.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
And then you can't wash it.
You gotta use a gold or a silver Sharpie. This is a small, extra small I got for my wife. I don't know that she wants to wear a shirt with her husband's name on it, but
oh yeah, you can see the detail. Yeah.
I mean, this is all screen printed, so nice. The detail is really nice, and like I say, it's
very nice.
It's very soft. It's not like a rigid, like some of the Gildan shirts are just really. Even this shirt's kind of not my go-to typically, especially here in Florida where it's so hot. But yeah, I think you're gonna like it, and cool. Probably gonna put out like a hat soon. I was talking with the merch company yesterday to do a hat and like some. I don't drink beer, but like a keychain bottle opener, not the one with the claw on it, but just the flat one where it can slide right in your pocket. So we're going to have a bunch of those made, and the first 79 shirts sold out. So reinvested in a whole nother order, and people are buying the shirts. And you know what Craig and I just want to see is just people out there wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
To me, it's not a money thing. This is just get the album cover out there, and and kind of start that branding process.
Is it just a quick one? Is it a baseball cap, or are you doing a beanie hat?
Right now, because it's summer, we're gonna do a baseball cap with the logo, and then once we start getting into fall and getting into those cooler months, I'll probably do like a universal style beanie, like a softer beanie where it kind of folds, not like the real tight ones, but where they're kind of loose.
Nice.
So I'll probably do like universal is best. I mean, you start, people are asking, are you going to, do you have the female shirts are cut, but honestly, man, they just sit around. So these are universal. Anybody can wear them, and they're really comfortable.
Oh man, that's great. I can't wait for my shirt now. I'm getting a little bit excited, but it'll be a while, but right. Okay. Let's go back to the album, man. So what amazes me is that you've got something so heavy, but something at the same time is so melodic. I mean, you've just got that in the sweet spot. Do you know what I mean? It's probably about as heavy as I can get, because you know me, I'm a melodic, heavy rock sort of channel.
Sure.
But the melody is just there constantly, and some real on first listens as well. With something that heavy, first listen, I was like, it just hit me. The choruses were hitting me. You did a great job with that, man. And I just want to mention the guitar solos themselves. I know I was listening to a recent interview you guys, and it totally said something that I love in guitar solos, and it's the melody and a song literally within a song, and it feels like you're humming the guitar solo, which what I miss from. I'm old now. I'm 50, so I was brought up in the 80s on music. But them sort of melodic solos where you're humming that solo as if it's a song. That's what you got, man, on this album. And I just want to say how great it is listening to the solos on the album itself.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, he definitely shows, like the ability of shred, the precision. He's picking each note for note. He doesn't play like legato stuff really, where it's a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Like everything Craig's always kind of gravitated toward. He can, but I know what he's always liked to do is playing each note, picking each note for note without spillover. Like paid attention to just really clean, precise, clean picking. And that was another thing, talking about the guitars with the EQing on the solos. Was like, hey, you're doing really great guitar work. We got to make sure it doesn't sound muddy, or everything needs to be very articulated and translate the way that you're really playing it. But I think he does a great job of doing bends and harmonies. There's some harmony stuff in there. There's some blues licks in there, even in a rock metal context. And then there's some really fast runs. So yeah, people are starting to pay attention to who Craig is, because this has been really, really great exposure for him too.
I mean, Craig, I've got a lot of subscribers that have sort of become friends since the channel started, and a load of them message me, and literally you're their favorite guitarist now. I know, but literally, I know you've been like you've been involved, with music on the outskirts, but I mean, man, you're fast becoming. People saying to me, man, the duo, actually, the two of you, just pulled really cool one in.
Yeah, I'm honored, absolutely honored, and I thank everybody. I get a lot of messages on Facebook. I get a lot of requests, and people asking me questions, and I try to answer as much as I can. But yeah, I'm totally honored. I've got a couple new friends now. Jeff Loomis just friended me on Facebook and sent me some messages. Dude, man. So, man, I'm honored. You're one of my idols.
So you got anything lined up? Have you got anything, anyone been contacting you or anything like that? Have you got anything planned next?
Not yet. We're right now, we're just concentrating on the record and trying to get it to do the best it can do. Hopefully that will happen down the road. I'm sure it will. I'll get some offers here and there, but I'm looking forward to it if I can. Yeah, no problem. Love to do it.
Great job, man. I just had to mention that. You mentioned gapping, I think you did, Todd, on a show you recently did. Like, where you do gapping in your solos and it's not all about the speed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite guitarists out of the 80s is TNT, Ronnie La Torre.
Right.
I mean, that gapping that he used to do, just, that's something that you can hear. I'm not saying Craig plays like Ronnie La Torre, totally different sort of player, but that sort of, it's all about the actual solo, not about the speed. It's just about giving you something different. I love the solo, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Great job, man. So for me, the album musically, we get onto lyrically in a minute, but musically, it's like a roller coaster of emotions, man. It's like brutal 1 minute, and the next minute it's just, beautiful, absolutely beautiful textures throughout the album. And it all sort of fits perfectly in a weird way. So was you guys worried that it was going to be too much?
I mean, that was something that I called Craig about. If Craig could elaborate on that, but I was like, hey, each song is its own standalone thing, and there's some very different things. Do you think that's going to be an issue? After we had all the songs, it was like, fuck, this is a full sounding record to me. It doesn't sound like this from this guy and this from this guy. It's like a whole. Oh yeah. It's still like sounds kind of consistent, but that was something I would call Craig on and be like, and then Craig would just say, dude, this is why you're doing a solo record, is to do everything that you want to do, regardless of anything else. Like, just have fun with whatever. And Craig was just sending me over songs. I'm like, all right, well, this is how this makes me feel like to sing. And so I would sing that. And, this is how, Craig can talk to you a little bit about that, but, that's kind of my initial answer to you.
Yeah, we did have that conversation about, are we on too much of a roller coaster ride here? And my whole thought with Todd's solo record was no restraint. We don't want to hold you back in any way. You sing a certain style in Queensryche. You sang a certain style in Crimson Glory. Why don't we just unleash in this whole thing? And going back to the roller coaster ride of the different songs, I was thinking, well, listening back to what we already had tracked, going, okay, well, everything's metal, so we're not like doing a bluesy. We're not doing this little bluesy thing over here, and then we're doing something with neoclassical over here, and then well, this one sounds like it's got too much orchestration in it. We didn't have any of that, so I was like, okay, everything is in the metal genre, even though we're going from fast to slow to fast to mid to fast to really slow. That to me, I was like, man, I have a feeling people are going to really enjoy listening to all the aspects of the different techniques and everything that you can do with your voice, which is an instrument in itself.
Yeah.
But I think the roller coaster ride is going to be pretty damn good. I mean, the way it's laying out. And then once we had the record and Zeus started hearing the mixes, he was like, man, you guys have something here. This is a good record. I was like, wow, thanks, man. So once we had everything done and everything was polished up and we put it all together, that whole question went out the window. We were very satisfied with what we had. We were very happy with the roller coaster ride. And so far, it's funny. I watched your reviews of each song in order, and you listen to the first song, you're like, okay, I already heard, that other song that they released before, and this is my new favorite song. Then you go to the second song and you would go, okay, no, this was my new favorite song. And then you go to the third song, what? Man, that just blew me away. Man. That's my new favorite song, So,
you don't know how painful that fucking was doing that. I'm telling you something now, because I did it very quick though. Yeah. I'd sometimes do one a day. I couldn't do it. I was like, at the moment I'm not working. I've been what they call furloughed. They're paying me because I'm vulnerable. I can't work at the moment. But I was like banging out 3 or 4 a day because I just couldn't fucking hold on. So but there were subscribers. They do it with me. They've even got the album and they say, I'm going to listen to it with you for the first time. I mean, that's dedication for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
But I made the most of it, man. Once I heard it, it was just non-stop. I was just plugging it. So
but the big tell is, I mean, the messages that we get and the feedback we're getting, every song on the record is someone's favorite.
Yeah.
There's not just 2 or 3 songs on the record that everyone likes and everyone's ignoring the other ones.
Oh,
Everyone is talking about every song on the record, which is, that's to us, that's like, okay, you know, we're in the pocket. This is where we need to be.
I'll tell you though, I'll tell you where you was totally, I totally get it. And even though One by One isn't, you know, for me as a listener, the other 2 tracks, I fucking love them other 2 tracks, the bonus track. But I can totally get how you separated those bonus tracks from the album. They really have got a different, that the album is a definite feel to it. And, you know, those 3 tracks are definitely different. But, you know, and they're still metal. 2 of them tracks are totally metal. One's more extreme, I suppose. But, man, that 1 to 10 is just the perfect, the songs. Them tracks aside is a good choice.
Yeah.
The song Hellbound and Down was one of the last songs to be like finished. And the whole time I was struggling with vocals on it, like coming up with the right blend for the chorus. And I don't know what I want to do here. And I said to Craig, fuck, I love the guitar. I love like what you played on all this. And I hate to like not rise to the occasion of what the music is, because it's a killer groove and stuff. But we were both like, yeah, that may end up being a bonus track. Like Hellbound and Down was almost a bonus track. Yeah. And then once that middle section came in where I did that, you know, walls of blood all burning, that whole thing. And we were like, okay, it's turning into a different thing here. And then we really started to like it.
Yeah.
So it didn't become a bonus track. But there was a time where that was like, is this even going to go on the record?
Right.
I think that song is the one that grew on me the most. Wow. I loved it when I first heard it, but I think the way it shoots into the chorus, it's almost, musically, I'm not, even though I was in a band, I didn't write anything much, but it sort of shoots into the chorus before it should, and it's brilliant. It just ramps up the energy in that song unbelievably. Can you face the fear that we've all been told? One more down, then you walk.
Yeah, and the guitar riff on that kind of reminds me of like a Pantera riff,
right?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's got a little bit of that southern, you know, it's that wow, it's got that groove, you know, it's got a Pantera groove.
I used to talk like that, man, when I was in the band, don't worry, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay, so I want to get on to not too much, but just mention lyrically. So sure. I think, you know, although a lot of these songs could be down to the listener's interpretation, it's for me, it's quite a personal album. I love the way you know, the lyrics are written. It's more like, I mean, you know what it's like with metal these days. You can do fantasy lyrics, you can do anything like that, but this is quite a personal album for me when listening to these lyrics, and I'm sure that's another thing that people are latching onto.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of songs for sure on there that are, you know, very personal to my dad's death. You know, the title track, Apology. But then you have songs like Critical Cynic, which are, you know, I mean, let the fucking anti-maskers that talk shit on my page have a field day with this. But that song is about science deniers.
Yeah.
And people that are, you know, I did my research, versus people that have spent decades in laboratories assessing real data, that know how to even interpret the data. So that song was written about, you know, I remember saying to Craig, like, God, can you believe all these people that are, you know, you're not allowed to tell somebody they got to leave the store if they don't have it on, like a gas station. They're afraid they're going to get shot, you know, and so that, you know, that touches on that topic. And then you've got Pretenders, which is basically, you know, me mocking evangelists and charlatans and snake oil salesmen, you know, promising you things that they really shouldn't be promising. And then Dogmata, which, you know, is touching on primarily the 3 Abrahamic religions and the poison, in my opinion, that is very intertwined in the dogma of those religions and how it's hard, it's poison. And, you know, I'm very outspoken about my views on theism or anti-theism and, you know, not to be confused with faith, but the dogma is what I'm criticizing here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Hellbound and Down is about somebody. I love to watch American Greed, and I've always been intrigued by the criminal mind and sleight of hand and illusion and that kind of thing. And the genius in these scam artists, even though I don't agree with what they're doing, there is a brilliance.
Yeah.
If they could, it's just like the government will take hackers and they'll employ them to catch bad guys now, right? But they were on the wrong side. They were on the bad side. They're really smart. And so that song is about somebody walking that fine line and then going over the edge and picking the wrong path. And now you're fucked.
Okay, great. I mean, like I said, roller coaster.
Yeah.
Musically and lyrically.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind, man. But apology. I recently did a video picking out my favorite plays of the week, if you like. So little snippets of songs, and I chose your part at the end of Apology. You know, that emotion you're giving in that song. I mean, if my dad died a few years ago, it was nothing like what happened with yours, you know, with your father. But I had a song that I was playing. It came out at that time. It was an Alter Bridge song. You guys know Alter Bridge. It was my champion, and we ended up playing it at the funeral. And man, I can't even listen to the song now. I love it. I just can't listen to it. I mean, you've been having to listen to that song. What's it like? I mean, you find it hard to listen to that song itself?
No, you know, the last part where the high singing is sometimes I get a little choky.
Yeah,
but
I do. But
I do every time.
I think I'm thinking of my dad as well as you. I'm thinking of it. Does choke me up.
That song chokes me up every time I hear it.
You know, it's yeah. I mean, that's a very personal song, and in fact, I did an interview with a guy, and he said, "Oh yeah, my dad committed suicide as well." And I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that." And I said, "When did that happen?" He said 2014. I said, "Oh, mine too." I said, "Yeah, my dad's was October 16th." He goes, "My dad's was October 4th." And his name was Todd, and my name's Todd. And
wow!
And I said to the guy, like, "Wow, dude, this is." And I go, "Yeah, my dad, he shot himself." He goes, "Mine too." Like he told it was so fucking parallel.
Yeah.
You know, some people find comfort in those things. You know, there's on the 2013 record, we wrote a song called "A World Without," and I wrote the lyrics about a mother dying, giving birth to her child, and somebody later down the road messaged and said, you know, I was the child that was being birthed, and my mom died, and I've never really had like closure, and your song, I feel like I have some closure now. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you don't realize how music will affect people. And you know, it was just my personal experience, but I'm certainly not alone in this.
No.
You know, and it was the perfect album closer. You know, I thought it was the perfect, you know, Craig and I really, really liked that. I remember when he sent the first draft over of just the beginning idea of the song, you know, I was like, wow, it's really sad and melancholic and empty feeling. It's very like sad feeling. Yeah. And you know, if music doesn't make you feel something, then it's a waste of time. I mean, if it makes you want to beat the shit out of somebody, or it makes you want to drive fast, or it makes you want to cry, or it makes you want to just rage or get all that emotion out, some type of emotion, whatever that emotion is. If it doesn't make you feel that, then it's a waste of time. And
Totally right,
you know, it's our therapy. It's probably your therapy, and
Yeah.
you know, it's the one thing that transcends all the BS in the world with race and all the problems we have. You know, music crosses all those boundaries.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, man. And thanks for sharing that with me. I didn't know whether to ask about,
And you
but
know,
thank
like
you very much.
lyrically, people say, "Oh, you know, well, you know, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion." Look, I'm not going to be muzzled. I'm going to say what I want in my own artistic way. And, you know, I don't want to persuade anyone to think anything. I just want them to think. Because I don't think there's a lot of that going on. And people need to think. And if they can think, and I provide a subject matter that rubs them a little wrong or makes them step back after the fact and go, you know, there was kind of something to that. And they don't want to like separate from their biases, you know, but if you just get to the core and the heart of taboo subject matter or things that are like, oh, we don't talk about that here. That's the problem, is we aren't communicating in a healthy way. And that, you know, those are the subjects that I like to write about. It's what we in Queensryche has always kind of been about political or sociological issues. And, you know, even though I have a fast car and a hot wife, I don't write about fast cars and hot chicks.
I'll tell you what, if you don't upset someone or make someone think about with your music, you always post a picture of your t-shirt. That'll fucking do it, wouldn't it?
Look, we you know, we talk, Craig and I, you know, my wife, who's a behavioral neuroscientist, that's her background, is, you know, very cerebral. Craig and I have discussions about things that are happening. They're not on the surface. You know, we like to have meaningful, deep conversations and keep peeling the layers back and like learning. You know, I don't have all the answers, but I'm always trying to learn and not be a black and white kind of a person. Some things you clearly have to draw the line in the sand and say that's just ignorant and wrong. But there are many shades of gray and things happening as to why things are the way that they are. And, you know, I try to touch on those things in an artistic way, in a meaningful way, sometimes in a meaningful, abrasive way on my own solo stuff, because, you know, this is my thing. It's not a Queensryche thing.
Yeah.
But to me, that's important because, you know, talking about, you know, baby, and you're so fine, and look at all my money in the fucking club and doing this kind of stuff. To me, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
The songs of the singer-songwriter era of the 60s and the 70s, you know, the Vietnam War, and all of those songs, you know, you look at Rust in Peace for Megadeth, you know, there are lyrics on there that are still very pertinent today.
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of those other songs and you listen to the lyrics, you're like, wow, haven't we learned haven't we learned from our past experiences? And that's what the intro to Vexed is about. Every night I go out and I look up at the sky. I let the dog out and I go out there and I stare up at the sky and I look at the stars and I think that star very well may not be happening right now. It's burned out, but the light, what I'm seeing, just took so many light years to get here to where I'm seeing it. And that's what that line in the song is, you know, we're staring at the mysteries of the sky that burned out long ago. The time machine has taught us well. That's history. You know, the failure of the lessons now unfold. And here we are again. It's like, it's that just holds true. And, you know, I think that certainly the Queensryche demographic and a lot of metal listeners are people that they don't just listen to it because it's the beat. You know, people are like, I'll be like, oh, I hate that. And be like, oh, but it's got a good beat. And I'm like, yeah, but there's more. Don't you want more out of that?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that the metal audience and demographic, a lot of them are sci-fi people. A lot of them are big time into reading, and they're very smart people. And they like to read the lyrics.
Yeah.
And so I take a lot of pride in the creation of the lyrical content that I write.
Brilliant. You know what, you don't realize, I've noticed a lot recently, people are, you do look back, and you're totally right, the lyrics that were written all them years ago are so apt now, aren't they? You're totally right. It's becoming more and more evident.
Yeah.
It's weird. So thanks for sharing that with me, man. So that's brilliant. Look, I know you took a long time. You've had this album in your head since you were younger. You've known each other a long time. And I know it's been a lot to get it together with your schedule and everything. But you are going to think about doing another album, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do another record.
I just wanted to make sure, man.
Yeah, it won't be a one-hit wonder.
And you're not going to go like all weird. It's going to be a metal album, isn't it?
I don't know what it'll be.
Oh.
I can tell it will be metal. I don't know what kind. I mean, I want to do whatever I want to do. And, you know, part of that is I would like to explore more of, I don't know, because I have other songs that are more in the melodic death black metal that I want to do. And maybe that needs to be a separate thing. I don't know. I don't know right now. It's too early. Maybe I'll do a record that's full blown that. And then maybe Craig and I'll do a follow-up to this that's a little more in line with this. But to be honest, what I really don't want to do is I don't want to feel like I have to deliver another album that people are going to like because they liked the first one.
Yeah. Because
at that point, now I'm writing it for you and not for me. And to me, that's not being honest.
Yeah.
And it's kind of selling out, because although Queensryche has a large backyard to play in, we still have boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. If I do on a Queensryche record, they're gonna go, "What the hell? This is not Queensryche." Okay.
Right.
But I do respect what Queensryche is, but we are mindful that there is an expectation. It is a business also. So how do you reconcile wanting to do creative, fun things that may be a little out of that yard, and not turn off your audience?
Yeah.
Queensryche and every other band has that. I don't have that. I don't care about that. I actually don't even care about it. I just want to do what I want to do. And if people love it, awesome. If a whole new audience that's more in the thrash death side likes it, and then everybody that's liked me in Queensryche just doesn't like it, that's okay too. I just want to paint the picture that I feel like painting. And it doesn't mean that's the end all be all, but I want to really just experiment and have fun. That's what it's all about, is having fun. But if I feel like I have to do X, Y, and Z because everybody liked the first record that was that way, I got to do the same thing on that, I don't think that's being authentic. No. Now, surely there's a way to blend the two. I think you could blend the two where you've got some really harsh gutturals, but then you've got very melodic singing where you can have the two, like Opeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Opeth, Michael can go into really nice melody, and then here comes this crazy, really heavy thing, and he gets into full gutturals. And, they're a massive band. They're widely respected. They're proggy as fuck. I would like to explore some of the more musical stuff on the next one, where you've got maybe a little bit more odd time signature here and there.
Yeah.
But still having everything very palatable, where your average ear doesn't get lost looking for the one.
I'll tell you what I think you've done though, especially with that last track, One by One. I think what you've done, you've made, because a lot of people obviously bought the album and listening to the album because your name's on it. But I think what you've done, you've made people listen to music they wouldn't normally listen to and really appreciate it. I haven't heard any negative things said about One by One either, even though it's that so different for you to do. I've heard a lot of good things about that track, and I think it's, you know, maybe for that side of metal, it's opened people's minds up to what they might like as well, what they wouldn't listen to before.
I hope so, but also, you know, when Craig had that gotta get, it actually flips itself over a 4/4 time beat. The way that the rhythm, the way that he plays the guitar, and then with a straight beat, it kind of does like a polyrhythm.
Yeah.
And then so you've got that you got that slow, cool groove with the since the dawn of time. You got a heavy guttural. Then you get into the one by one we pick. You get some singing. Then you get into some black metal tremolo picking chords. Then breaks out the 12 string, and you're like, okay. Craig starts playing this really pretty this kind of thing, and then his solo is again spacious. So even though I like the brutal stuff, I'm not going you know, blast beats and just all this stuff. I still want to maintain space, but have a heaviness and a brutality to it in a very musical sense. So we're gonna, you know, we'll do another record for sure, but I can't say it's gonna just be like this one part 2. It's gonna be whatever we create. But you know, when we did this, we were like, we love this. We love the record we just made, and we hope that other people like it too. Yeah. We had no preconceived notions as to who would like what or love it or hate it. We had no idea. And I just said to Craig, dude, this is the record we always wanted to make in our 20s, but now we're finally doing it. We're better musicians. We're, you know, grown adults. We're, you know, we've got more life experience. You know, I happen to have a good platform now where we can do this, and like people will really hear this. Yeah. This is a perfect time for us to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. If we made this record, as far as on my end of it, if we made this record 25, 30 years ago, the guitar solos wouldn't have been what they, you know, back then I was doing the shredding all the time, you know, and that was cool. I didn't really know a lot of blues stuff. And in the last 15 years, I stepped back and I went, you know what? I was listening to a lot of Stevie Ray and Hendrix, and I had a few friends around here that are really accomplished blues players, and I loved what they were doing. Yeah. And I said, man, I really need to step back and really add in that style into my playing and just kind of take a breath. You know, I don't need to show off. I don't need to do that. I don't need to, you know, I think to me, guitar players like Blue Saraceno, Harry Cody from Shotgun Messiah, those guys are really smooth. Even though they're not ripping scales, they're still shredding just by the way they're playing. They're just so stylish, and it has so much feel. And that's the biggest thing I wanted, is the feel. I want emotion in my playing. So I really have been working on that a lot over the last 15 years or so.
Well, man, I just think that the record's just worked that well, because no matter how, like I said before, how heavy you got, it's just got melody through every single song, even One by One. There's so much melody in that song.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, well, you know yourself, there's such a thing as melodic black metal, melodic death metal, no matter what it is, but as long as it's got melody in, that's what pulls me in anyway. And I've got to say, man, I really don't think, and I'm not just saying it because you guys are on here, it's really like hit me hard, this album. I don't think it's going to be beat this year. I really don't think it's going to take a few years to beat this album. I'm not just kissing your ass because you're on the channel, by the way. But I've got to say, when I'm pulling out a track, and this one's still with me, we've already spoken about it, Vexed, man, it's just, that hit me immediately. It's like you wrote this, you said to me, right, Lee, I'm going to write a song for you. What do you want to fucking be in it? And I told you, and you did it. That's how it sounds to me. I mean, it's even in the intro to my channel now. It's just, that riff is just amazing. So I just want to ask, that's my favorite track still on the album. Just a quick one. Have you got one that you see above the rest of the album? Like the best track or the best bit even? What's your bit that really stands out to you?
I mean, I love the chorus to Vexed.
Oh yeah.
You know, I love I love Pretenders a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Crossroads is great, but you know, we've heard these songs 1,000 times before everybody else. So, you know, but there are parts where I listen, I'm like, damn, that is good. You know, I'll hear rejoice in the suffering, or I don't know. There's pieces of all of them that I think are really cool, you know. But I think Vexed is a really pretty intro.
Yeah.
You know, the guitar thing that he plays on that. And then, you know, it's got that classic gallop.
Yeah.
You know, that's fun. And the chorus, the way it opens up to the chorus, you know, when I wrote that melody to the chorus, Craig was like, dude, this is great. And I was like, yeah, I'm not a really good hook writer. You know, I'm better at verses. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You got hooks all over this thing.
What about you then, Craig?
Well, if we're talking about emotion, Apology is when I wrote just the instrumental of that song, it was very emotional to me. Then when Todd put the lyrics on it, it went through the roof. I was like, wow, this song just became super powerful. But I love every song on the record. I still myself listen to the record on a daily basis.
I'll bet you do.
Start at one and I let it go, and I enjoy it. Listen, my son loves it. You know, all our friends. You know, I get all the feedback. But yeah, Apology hits home to me. That's a song. When I wrote that solo, I had a hard time playing that solo because I was tearing up while I was doing it. I was like, okay, stop. I'm going, come on, stop being a pussy. You know, let's go. Let's track this thing. Let's get it done. I mean, because I was pretty close with Todd's dad myself. So
yeah, Craig was.
We were all buddies. I mean, it was you know good times. So that song definitely hits home. I do love. I had never really recorded a thrash song. So Vanguards of the Dawn Wall to me, when I hear that. I told Todd, I said, when every song on this record, I want to see people doing this, and I want to be doing this. Oh yeah, okay. So you know, I have a nickname at Rat Pack. They call me Craig Riffwell. So
definitely, yeah.
Joe calls me that. It's so funny, but yeah, that's the kind of style I like to write as far as you know, guitar riffs. I love riffing. It makes the songs fun, and I think that's a big thing in all the songs of the record. They're all fun. They're all fun to listen to, and wow, like Todd said in the EPK, it kicks you in the teeth, and it does. That's exactly what it does.
I'll tell you what you've done as well. I mean, I've noticed a lot in music these days. Choruses ain't what they used to be. Sometimes I'm picking out verses or pre-choruses of the best bits of songs. But you seem to have got the choruses banged out in this as well. You know, they stand out as they should, as a chorus should.
Yeah, when we were writing, and we love Testament, we love all these bands that we grew up with, and there's some new music out that we were listening to, and we love that heavy style. But to me, and this is the kind of the example I get, I feel like they're reaching but not grabbing. Like a lot of this new metal and music that's out, they're reaching for something, but they're not grabbing it. They're not quite getting it, and I'm like. Yeah, it's right there, but it's just a little short, you know? Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, going back to Todd's writing as far as the hooks, I felt like every time Todd sent me something back, I was like, okay, we're not reaching there. We're grabbing it. That's it. We got it. Now we just need to really refine it and dial it really good in. And that's I feel like we did that.
Well, if you take a song like Pretenders or maybe Dogmata and like Rejoice in the Suffering a little bit, Vanguards. It's not a singing chorus like you know, calling but they don't hear you. It's not that. It's Vanguards of the Dawn Wall. It's very chanty. Pretenders of the faith. Gotta get at it. Pretenders of the faith.
But you know it's the fucking chorus though, don't you? And sometimes you know it's the chorus. It builds up to that and it becomes the.
But
whereas sometimes I can't tell.
Sometimes I think that we think the chorus needs to be singy. Right. And it's like, well, no. Like if you take a Testament, you like practice what you preach, pray, da, practice what you preach. That's all he's saying.
Yeah.
And it just works. And
Yeah.
and you know, you could do blood will rain far and wide, blood will rain, you know, it's just more like catchy that way. It's you know, I don't think everything needs to be sung so melodically, but even like a good chant, you know, like a Vanguards of the Dawn Wall or something like that. People, it's catchy, it's simple, but you know, talking about what Craig was touching on, what he said about a lot of the stuff that we hear today. What I hear today, honestly, dude, is just a lot of overplaying. I hear a lot of overplaying, and it's just too much.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe that's why I'm not, there's a simplicity, not to devalue the technical aspects of what our record has, but there is a simplicity in our record that we always appreciated in that first Fight record.
Yeah.
But I think ours sounds more full.
Yeah.
But we do have some ambient keys happening in the background, very subtle, to just give it a little color so it's not so raw.
One chance is all it takes to show you who I am. One face, a bitter man, you'll never understand.
But it was like, yeah, dude, we don't want to layer 1,000 fucking things where it's like, we want the riff to stand out, we want the rhythm section to be driving, and we want the groove, and then everything else is just fun at that point, you know. But I think there's just and there's one more aspect. You know, I've watched some other bands put some recent videos out, and I hear things, I'm like, wow, that guy's a phenomenal singer. What is it that's not, what do I feel is lacking? They might be a way better singer than me. And I'm like, okay, I found out what it is. They're singing words and they're not selling me the lyric.
Right.
And so if somebody says a word like fight or cut or evil or whatever that word is, it better goddamn sound like it. And I'm hearing a lot of words like, you know, da cut you like, no, it needs to cut you, and you need to feel that. And that's what I'm hearing. The difference is, if you listen to the delivery on what I'm doing, every word has that passion in it.
Yeah.
And I don't care about technicality at that point. I just want passion. And make me feel that you're going to cut me. Make me feel that you're going to slice that. Make me feel that your heart is really bleeding and you're fucking dying inside. Don't tell it to me, sell it to me. Right. And there's great guitar players that can play all the notes, note for note.
Yep.
But there's just a manufactured sound that's translating in that delivery that just isn't hitting my heart.
Yeah.
And if you listen to a David Gilmour solo or something that's not, you know, all this craziness, but you just hear a really nice, you know, some tasty things on a guitar, like, oh, okay, that is moving me.
Yeah.
So I think what this record has is that passion in those deliveries, whether it's the, you know, Craig and I did not phone this thing in. I mean, we really worked hard. You know, I mean, this record is not easy to sing, and I gave it my all. And there were times where I was like, okay, I sound like shit today. I'm not even going to sing that part today. I'll see what tomorrow brings. But I know how I want it to sound, and it's not coming out today. You know, and a couple days later, I'll be like, boom, there it is. Now I got it. It's coming out, no problem today. And then I record that. So, you know, make no mistake, it's not like I just sat down and sang every song just, you know, effortlessly. It's a hard record to sing, and all the guitar parts, everything is very on point. And to me, that's kind of summing up just today's climate. It's like,
yeah, I agree.
You can play stuff, but make me feel that.
And that's not how rock and metal should be. It should always be about the emotion and how it makes you feel. And it ain't just about other shitty music. We're not talking about rock and metal. If that's creeping in, you're totally right. It's creeping into rock and metal, and it never should be like that. It's always. Well,
I used to listen. Craig and I used to listen to Ice Cube all the time, and Dre and Dr. Dre, and and when Ice Cube would rap, I mean, he sounded believable. I mean, it was believable. Like, man, this guy's selling me the rap. He didn't rap in a really sloppy, lazy way. He didn't. I mean, he was like selling me his words.
Yeah, you were there in the story when he was telling it.
Yeah, and the way he pronounced things and emphasized words, whether you like rap or not, he's awesome. I love Ice Cube, you know, and the way he can deliver a rhyme and a lyric is like, you know, there's passion in that delivery, and you know, it's almost like you could see his face saying So those are just some extra things I just wanted to mention where, you know, I think we did do a really good job when it comes to how it's translating. It is powerful, and that's because you know what I in closing to this topic, when I was a teenager in my early 20s, you know, I had bounced from shitty job to shitty job, and you know, telemarketing, everybody's always had that one shitty job where you're like, hi and welcome to and they teach you to smile on the phone, right? Because you can hear that, right? You can hear when somebody's smiling and saying something to you. Well, in the same way, when you're angry and you got that, and you're fucking possessed inside, and here comes this delivery, and you're gonna belt out that verse to Vexed. My face looks like you would think it is. You know, and it's like we always joke with Scarface, you know, say hello to the bad guy. You know, he's got that, he's got that face, you know? You know?
Yeah.
A woman's so polluted she can't even make a baby.
You know, you got that face, right? And there's certain things where it's like it transforms the delivery. And so when you're gonna sing something that's sad and emotional and heartfelt, it comes out. It just comes out. It's believable because it's authentic. And I think that's what I'm personally missing. Not in everything. There's some great shit out there. Don't get me wrong. Some really good stuff. But there's a lot of stuff too that I feel like it's a paint by numbers. You know, do that, do that, do that. It's like, it's heavy. It sounds brutal, but there's something that's just not hitting me here. And I don't know what that is. And I try to analyze it because I say the drums are killer, the guitars are killer, he sounds mean as fuck. All these things are there. And I say, okay, there's a lot of overplaying. The riff is getting buried. The drum's doing everything the guitar's doing. They're screaming over everything. It's blast beats the whole time. I'm not hearing a hook. And then just go, ugh. And then I put on yacht rock and listen to
Brilliant. All right, listen, guy, I'm nearly done with you. I'll let you go soon.
Yeah, I'll bill you for the overage time. Don't worry.
But listen, there's a bit of fun I want to have with you. All right. Hopefully this will be all right. So
anything you want.
Put you under a little bit of pressure here. I was going to do it with you together, but I'm going to do it separate. So a little while ago, last week, I did a fantasy band thing on my channel, and there was 3 of us on the channel. We named but it was a bit different for us. We could name people that had passed away. So I had Ronnie James Dio as my vocalist, you know, and I won the argument just because of Dio, obviously.
Yeah. Hey.
But exactly. But I want you guys to do it quickly. So I want you to have, obviously, Todd, I've got to have you as the singer, I'm afraid. Oh, no, you could be the drummer.
Well, hold on. You were just talking about dead people. What the fuck are you doing?
No, listen, you don't get to choose dead people because this needs to be a fantasy band that can actually happen. So you've got 2 rules. They've got to be alive. The other rule is that you couldn't have played with them before because I don't want the pressure I don't want
That
you
just
being
took-
under pressure. See.
That just took my singer away, but okay.
Hold on. So wait. So Lee, the rules are you can't have already performed with them, and what was the other one?
They've got to be alive.
Oh, they have to be alive.
So you
Okay, so
drummer,
I got-
you could be the drummer, Todd, or you could be the vocalist. You have to make your own mind up with that.
Well, if it's a dream band, could I be the guitar player?
No, that's
All right,
cheating.
I'll be
That's-
I'll be the drummer.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, by the way, you can have, because it's becoming more and more popular, you can have up to 3 guitarists. How's that?
Again, I don't want 3 guitarists.
Oh,
All right. Wow, I'm gonna have to go with Dio as the singer because
No, he's dead.
I thought.
You don't get that choice. It's got to be real. This
All
one.
right. Okay, let me think. Damn.
Do you want to go, Craig, first? If he looks
Yeah,
like he's
let
got
Craig
something-
go. I gotta say.
Okay, so I would. Now, is this a band that I'm in?
Yes.
You're in the band.
Okay, so obviously I'm guitar. I would love to have Todd on vocals. I would love to have Scott Travis on drums and Steve Harris on bass.
You can't have Todd on vocals.
You can't have me because we've already worked together.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And then that just took away my other singer, Ray Gillen from Badlands. He's dead too. So
Bruce Dickinson. There you go.
Bruce, there you go, Bruce
Oh,
Dickinson. But
yeah,
yeah, Steve Harris. Well, yeah, I don't want to mix Iron Maiden though, because so I'd have to choose another vocalist. But yeah, I love Scott Travis, Steve Harris, or Racer X's bass player, Juan Alderete. He's having some medical issues right now, but he's another one of my favorite bass players.
So who are you actually going to have? You go have Steve Harris.
Yeah, I do Steve Harris. Yeah, I've always wanted to meet
Same
him.
one.
Anyway, so.
Someone I chose. I chose Steve Harris. So Steve Harris on bass. Who's your vocalist? Bruce Dickinson. You can have 2 out of the same band.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then and Jeff Loomis as my other rhythm, the other guy, not rhythm, but my other lead player. So we could do some sick stuff together.
Cool. Who's on your drums, mate?
That would be Scott Travis.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. That's a good band. That ain't a bad band at all. That's good.
Well, it's, him with Racer X, and then I think he played with Fight. Yeah, he played with the first Fight record, and I'm not sure who played on the second one, if he did that one at all. And then Painkiller obviously plays with Priest. So,
nice.
But he's always been one of my favorite drummers.
Good band, man. Good band. Right, Todd, you're on drums, yeah?
Bet that goes. I'll be on drums. I'll pick. You know what? I'll pick Halford on vocals.
Yeah.
I'll put Gus G on one guitar.
Yeah.
And let's see. I gotta pick another guitar player. Let me think. Dream guitar, because Gus is fucking awesome. He's a good buddy of mine, and I think it would be fun as hell to play in a band with Gus.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another guitar player. Let me think of all the guys. Who do I want? Give me some.
See, this is cool because people will actually think this will happen. They think, oh, this could happen.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got Halford on vocals. I got Gus on guitar. I got to pick and give me another guitar player. Let's pick. Let's pick Marty Friedman.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
And then as a bassist, any bassist in the world I would want in that band. You know who I would pick? This is gonna surprise people. Oh shit, I've worked with him. I can't do that. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking, I mean, Steve Harris would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. Can I pick what Craig?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, so I got Steve Harris, Gus G, Marty Friedman, Rob Halford, and me on drums. Fuck yeah!
That's pretty fucking good. That would
be
pretty
sick.
fucking good. Oh man, that's brilliant. Thanks for doing that for me. I know it puts you under a bit of pressure. I took the people you've worked with out of it because I didn't want you under pressure to choose them.
Right. Yeah, sure. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, listen, I want to say one thing before you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us a fucking great album, you two.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thank you,
you.
Todd. Thank you, Todd, and the rest of the guys for giving me Queensryche back again.
Yeah, and
Yes.
we're working on another one now. I got a ton of songs on this computer of all brand new Queensryche ideas, about 20 to 25 songs already in various stages. So I got a lot of lyrics, and
I mean, I know you.
Maybe I'll,
Go on, sorry, mate.
I was gonna say maybe I'll chum the water with something really messed up on Facebook, and there's my lyrics.
I was going to say, you know, those you said to me, didn't you? Those early Queensryche albums. Just a quick one: Rage for Order, Operation Mindcrime, The Warning. They are just amazing and
Phenomenal.
But I seriously do think
Works of art.
especially those last two Queensryche albums you did. They fit straight in, man. No bullshit. They are
Thank you.
proper Queensryche.
Yeah.
It's back to how I wanted it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You know, a lot of people, you know, are always going to compare it to those great records that we all love. You know, big fan. The Warning's my favorite record from the band. You know, and then people say, oh, you know, it's nothing like what they did back then. And it's like, the original members never did another Operation Mindcrime like they ever did. So, you know, sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle. And, you know, but I can say this, the guys are having a lot of fun. I think that we are definitely keeping those very essential elements of what makes Queensryche sound the way that it sounds. But today, you know, with me, I mean, no one can deny that I'm a metalhead. I'm a fan of metal, you know, and you know, just trying to pay homage to the past and always keep that common thread of vocal delivery and musicality and everything in the new stuff that we do. But a lot of people have embraced what I've done with the band, and so we're very thankful for that. We've worked really hard on that, and yeah, we're album number 4 for me coming up.
Excellent. Honestly, I can't wait. But next year, I think now anyway, innit? So I heard you talking the other day, probably next year now for the Queensryche album.
It'll be next year. Yeah, we'll be in the studio sometime this year, I'm sure, because we've gotten a lot done in a pretty quick time since we started getting together in person. And we're already talking with management and so forth about logistics and routing for another tour. Now, as far as getting over to Europe, that's another story. I don't foresee, personally, I don't foresee us getting back there till 2023.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Don't hold me to it. But you know, their criteria with different countries is very different than the United States. And not only that, Lee, in closing, all of the bands that were booked for the, you know, say Wacken, okay, they were all moved from 2020 to 2021. 2021's not happening. They're going to go 2021 to 2022. So even if you wanted to, you're not going to get in. 2023 is probably the next logical and feasible openings where bands can now get on those rosters, because we're not alone. There's a ton of other bands that would have been, you know, doing those things. But now that the vaccine is getting out there and people are taking it, and we can start to reach some herd immunity soon and get back to some semblance of normalcy where it can be fun to play on stage again, because right now it's just not something that sounds fun from a safety perspective.
Well, I think Queensryche were one of the bands I regretted not seeing all them years back when I was younger. And I got to see you guys in 2016, I think it was, at the O2 in Islington, London. So I got to see you, and I was just over the moon because it was one of them bands that I never got to see. And I got to see
you know what? I think Soto played there that night with us. Jeff Scott Soto.
Yeah.
I think because he came out, I think it was that year.
It's the Condition Human tour.
Yeah, I think his band also played there, but I know exactly the place that you're talking about. In fact, that's where, not to go too grotesque, that's where that killing was, on the street right near that venue when that guy beheaded the guy in the street.
Yeah,
that was right down the block from that venue.
Mm.
But you know, we love it there. I don't know how it's going to work with the Brexit thing now.
Yeah, I know,
because you've got, I don't know what other, you know, in the EU, you can just boom, boom, boom. You can go from country to country to country. You know, it's not a big deal. Now taking the ferry and going, I don't know what other kind of permits are needed for the UK. I have no idea.
I think it'll be, without knowing for sure, I think it'd be a bit easier than people think. I don't think it'd be that different, but I might be wrong, but I don't think it is. Hopefully not.
Hopefully it's business as usual, but
exactly.
I guess we'll find out soon. But listen, thanks for all the work you put into the reviews, and I hope that you had fun today with us.
Oh man, I have,
Yeah, good.
It's been a real honor, yeah.
And thanks for the kind words about the record and putting it out there and supporting it and all that good stuff. So we really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming and talking to me, guys.
Yep. Thank you, Lee.
Hopefully talk again soon.
Oh yeah.
All right, bud.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Yeah.